Okay, our topic for today is length and perimeter. Now before we can really start talking about that, we need to understand the definition of the term perimeter. This term, perimeter, just means the distance around. So if you think about, if you're one of those kids who enjoys video games, the shoot 'em up kind, you might think about, oh, we need to set up a perimeter. That means we need to set up an encirclement or the line around something, and that's what we're talking about when we talk about perimeter. We're talking about the distance around a shape, not within the shape, but around the shape. Now, whenever we're talking about length and perimeter, we will often need to change the units that we're dealing with. The ones that we most commonly deal with in the metric system are kilometers, meters, centimeters, and millimeters. If we start out with kilometers and we want to turn those into meters, let's say we had, for example, 12 kilometers and we wanted to turn that into meters. There are 1,000 meters in a kilometer, so we have to multiply by 1,000. If we start out with meters, let's say again we had 5 meters and we wanted to turn that into centimeters. There are 100 centimeters in a meter, so we have to multiply by 100. Our 5 meters becomes 500 centimeters. And if we want to turn our centimeters into millimeters, again there are 10 millimeters in a centimeter, so we multiply by 10. And we can work all the way across. If we had, for example, 2 kilometers and we wanted to turn that into millimeters, we can work our way across. 2 kilometers times 1,000, that's 2,000 meters. And then if we wanted to turn that into centimeters, we'd multiply by 100 again, and that 2,000 meters becomes 200,000 centimeters. If we wanted to turn it into millimeters, we'd multiply by 10. Our 200,000 centimeters becomes 2 million millimeters. And we can also go the other direction. If we start out with millimeters, let's say we have 200 millimeters and we want to turn it into centimeters, we divide by 10. It would become 20 centimeters. If we started out with, let's say, 12,000 centimeters, and we wanted to turn those into meters, we would divide by 100, and that 12,000 centimeters would become 120 meters. And if we start out with meters, and we want to turn it into kilometers the same way, we divide by 1,000. Now when we're doing perimeter, all we're doing, as I said, was just working around the outside. How far is it around the outside? Now that's pretty simple in many cases. Maybe we have a square, and that square is 4 centimeters on a side. We just add those 4 centimeters together all the way around, we get 16 centimeters. Or if we have a triangle, and we're given that they are 3 meters, 4 meters, and 5 meters, we just add 3 plus 4 plus 5, and we get 12 meters all the way around. The figures that are a little bit more interesting are these like this, where we don't appear to be given everything. But remember, these hash marks right here tell us that those are the same. So we know that this is 3 centimeters. This must also be 3 centimeters. And those two together are the same as this side, so this side must be 6 centimeters. And if we take this side and move it out to here, and this side and move it down to here, that won't actually, you can see, change the perimeter, right? We'd just be going this way instead of going this way. So we don't actually need to know this side and this side. All we need to know is that together they add up to 4 centimeters. And this again down here is 3 centimeters. We now add up our sides. We have 6 and 4 is 10, plus 3 is 16, plus 4 more is 20 centimeters. Now we can also take figures that were given the perimeter and we can figure out some of the sides. We can do that algebraically, or we can do it sort of informally. So we'll do it informally first. Here's a triangle, and we know that the perimeter is 19 centimeters. The distance all around is 19 centimeters. This side we're given is 5. So if we take that 5 away from the 19, then we know that these two sides together must be 14 centimeters. And since there are 2 of them, and we know that because of those hash marks they're the same, so we divide by 2, and we find out that x, or this side here, is equal to x equals 7 centimeters. Now, if you prefer the algebraic way to do that, which in some ways is a little bit more elegant. If we want to do it the algebraic method, we would say that the perimeter of this is 2 times x, because there's 2 of those, plus 5, that's this side, is equal to the total perimeter, which is 19. And then when we solve that, we can figure out x. We would start with subtracting 5 from both sides, which would give us this 5 would be a go away, and we'd be left with 2x is equal to 19 minus 5 is 14. And then we undo that 2 times x by dividing. We divide by 2. And we get x is equal to 14 divided by 2 is 7, or 7 centimeters in this case. And that is length and perimeter.